Hello everybody, thanks for watching tonight. We have today the 16th Berlin Real Estate Talk. Our expert today is Mr. Martin Bonnet. Thank you, Martin.
Good evening, thank you.
The show today is about financing properties here in Germany, especially of course in Berlin. Martin is one of the leading mortgage brokers here in Berlin, focusing on international clients buying and financing properties here in Germany. He is brokering over 50 million euros every year, more than 2 mortgages a day. And he will respond to your questions today in the webinar, in the show. And please feel free to contact Martin under berlinfinance.eu if you have further questions on your property transaction. Martin, you have financed over 50 million euros this year. You are more than 20 years in the business as a mortgage broker.
Exactly.
You have around 7 employees or freelancer brokers working for you. You speak fluent German and English, and 80% of your clients are international buyers, non-German taxpayers. Is this correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Your approximately volume is around 200,000 euros per client, and you broker about, or your company brokers about 2 mortgages per day.
Yeah, 150, 200,000. Yeah, around this. I have to calculate the figures exactly. I hope they fit to each other.
Yeah. So most of your clients are investors or people who want to live here in Berlin?
No, they want to invest to diversify worldwide, and so Germany is very attractive to them. So they want to buy apartments, sometimes multi-story buildings in Germany, to allocate some of their money there.
Okay.
To Germany.
So the topic today is financing in the corona pandemic here in Germany. And also during the rent ceiling in Berlin, we have that infamous rent ceiling. I'm sure you've heard about it. So what did you see this year? We're now having end of 2020. What have you seen?
Well, I can see a difference between Berlin and other German cities, towns, or places. Whenever somebody wants to buy something in Berlin, almost all lenders take a close look on the legal rent, if I may call it like this. So the maximum rent possible by law. And as the lenders have the attitude that they don't check the income situation of a particular non-German tax resident so closely, or they don't take it into account for the mortgage decision, we are more or less left with a legal rent, and the lower the rent, the lower the mortgage total. And this has happened several times this year, so that due to the rent cap or rent ceiling, investors have been offered lower mortgage totals.
Has there been any issues when people were asking for a mortgage this year compared to the year 2019 and the year 2018? New topics?
Well, the main topic has been Berlin and the rent cap, of course. Corona. Many people have become nervous about Corona. Everybody, or many people are wondering how Corona affects the property market, affects the willingness of lenders to provide mortgages the way they have done so for the last years. These have been issues. I think I have had twofold or threefold inquiries compared to previous years. So therefore, so I've had a lot of time absorbed by investors' questions, and but all these issues have to be taken seriously, and so this is my job. This has been my job this year.
What should sellers of real estate keep in mind now?
They have to be more patient than before, because if their buyers need a mortgage from a bank, from a lender, then it takes much more time than before to get a mortgage on average. So where we had maybe 2 or 3 weeks to get a mortgage, now it's twice the time, at least twice the time than before to get a mortgage. So not 2 to 3 weeks, but 4 to 6 weeks or even more. And you need to arrange for this. Ideally, when authorizing the purchase contract already, but you need to be patient.
How does the rent cap affect the affordability of rented apartments?
affordability of whom? Of the buyer, or?
Yes.
They're still affordable. It's just you need more equity to buy them. Okay. That's it. So you need more money on average from your own pocket to invest. And if you have this money, you can still afford them. Yeah, of course. But don't count so much more on the mortgage side. The mortgage totals have been reduced.
Yeah. The interest rate is still quite low for international buyers? Or?
Definitely, yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Historically low.
Okay. Okay. How do you see the market next year in terms of financing?
Well, I hope it at least remains the same like now, but I hope that the mortgage decisions will be taken more quickly again, like in 2019 or 2018. It's really stressful for all parties involved, for the buyer, for the seller, for the banker, for me as the broker. And yeah, this is a period of uncertainty, and this period is extended for far too long. So we really have to hope that that we get normality as soon as possible, and we'll see. Maybe the vaccine will help, and we can return to normality. I don't know. It has never been more difficult to predict the future than nowadays, from my perspective.
Yes, we're always very bad at predicting the future. When I look on last year, 2019, and what happened in 2020, I think none of us would have expected.
No, definitely not.
Yes, we've expected the rent ceiling, but not the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So we have a more generic question here from one of our listeners. Is now a good time to buy property in Berlin? I have to add here, I'm not sure if you want to buy property where you want to live in yourself. It's a capital investment where you just want to buy, hold, and rent it out, or you want to invest into a project or a property you maybe want to refurbish.
Well, as an investor, you can speculate. Should the Supreme Court, the German Supreme Court, cancel the law about the rental cap, then there can be a boom in the market, because some investors who have become reluctant will almost certainly return, and there will be huge demand for Berlin properties. But if the Supreme Court, what would be a surprise to me, confirms the rent cap, then this might be another hard hit for the market, and who knows? So difficult to answer.
So in the German session we just had just now, we have spoken about the possibilities of the rent ceiling to be, like you already pointed out, to be cancelled at the federal court here in Germany. We are expecting this court decision in summer next year, so summer 2021. However, with the current climate in the corona pandemic, we don't really know when the federal court has time to make a decision or not. And it's not really 100% sure. So there's a risk. We don't know what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Most of the judges, lawyers, solicitors we know, they all think the federal court's going to stop that rule, because even in that rent ceiling, just for you guys who don't know that exactly, everything that has been completed before 2014 is being considered to be an old build. Of course, that's a big question, because now we're having 2020, so that means everything that's older than 6 years is an old building, which is of course not true. But again, that's one topic, and the other one, of course, is the fact that you have to lower the existing rents with existing tenants, which I think if you sign a contract with a tenant as a landlord, and then the government tells you have to lower the rent because of the rent ceiling. So we're talking here about 12 euros net rent, and then the judge is telling you, or the court is telling you, you only can add 8 euros or whatever, 7 euros. Then of course the assumption of most lawyers is that you then can have the right to cancel the contract, because there's a new legislation in place, and then you can cancel the rental contract with your tenant and just find a new tenant or just sell the apartment. Again, this is all pure speculation. Please consult lawyers on this. We are not lawyers. We are just experts. So we are the mortgage broker. Martin is a mortgage broker. We are the real estate agent. So please ask us these questions on financing or the brokerage business. So again, I think it's a great time to buy in Berlin in terms of if you want to live in Berlin. Prices are rising at the moment, especially for people who want to self-use their property, so not for investors. And if you're an investor, you really have to get a good broker and a good lawyer to tell you exactly about the regulations you have here. Please also expect that the rental market here, especially in the capital, so in Berlin, will be highly regulated. Whatever the judge will say next summer, or the judges, there will be always regulations on the Berlin property market, and the demand for affordable apartments in Berlin is so huge. The vacancy rates are even below 1% in all major cities now in Germany, which means that between the time the tenant is canceling the contract and leaving the apartment and the time you have a new tenant is less than 2 weeks or 3 weeks, which is amazing. Yeah, I think having said this, don't get nervous. If you're invested in Berlin, please speak to us, get a proper valuation, find solutions. There are a lot of solutions for you. So there's another question we have.
Well, if I may add something. So when talking about all these regulation things about Berlin, we must not forget one thing. Berlin is still considered a very, very fashionable. People like to come to Berlin. The cultural offer is great. The culinary offers are great. Well, at the moment we are in a lockdown, unfortunately, but it's a place to be, Berlin. It has been a place to be, and it will again be a place to be. So all these aspects are absolutely pros concerning Berlin, and we have been talking too much time about all these negative things. Berlin is a great place to live, and therefore you should not underestimate this aspect.
Yeah, and I think most people in Berlin are realizing now that if you regulate the rent so much that the people simply can't afford to find a property anymore, so they all have to buy. So that's one of the reasons why prices are going up, because you just have to buy if you want to live in Berlin, because there are not enough apartments you can rent for a price you can afford, or you just leave the city, which means that there will be more people buying than there was before. Yeah. Again, this is something we observe here. Of course, the macroeconomics are showing positive signs on Berlin. If you read the Deutsche Bank report and other reports giving you the macro overview, I mean, real estate is a long-term business, so we're not investing in buying every day. So you would invest here in Germany typically for 10 years or 15 years. And then I think in 10 or 15 years, we will have a different situation. And then we are all pretty sure that the investment in Berlin has made sense for you, especially if you have a good mortgage broker, making sure you have a long-term mortgage, fixed interest rates, which is very important, and there are low interest rates here in Germany. So these are the main questions we have here for you guys in English. Please feel free to contact Martin. What's your website again?
www.berlinfinance.eu.
Yeah, so please feel free to contact Martin. He's one of the leading finance brokers here in Berlin, Germany, when it comes to international clients, so non-German taxpayers. And if you have any questions on the property market itself, please feel free to contact us directly here at Black Label. And thank you for watching tonight.
Thanks a lot for being on the show.
Thank you, Martin.